Sorry about that. So today's agenda, I briefly talk about a few information you need to know before your travel, and then Kimberly will talk about advanced declaration, and then we will talk about airport greeting services, iSent app, social insurance number, and medical care plan clinics, and then off-campus housing. I think there is a microphone on. Could you please mute yourself? Thank you. And okay, so just a few points for your travel. So you don't need permission from university to purchase your ticket, but please make sure that you buy refundable tickets, especially if you are still waiting for your immigration documents. So you have that flexibility if your travel plans change. And also, please make sure if you have already booked your travel that if you have any international flight connection before entering Canada, make sure to go to that country website and be aware of the regulation to enter that country. Okay, I think I can stop here, and Kimberly, you can let me just stop my. Oh. And Kimberly, I'm gonna make you a presenter, and
Wonderful.
you should be able to share your screen now.
Great. Just let me, what do you want to share? I'm going to do that and I'm going to press share. I hope it picks the correct screen. Choose what you want to share. There we go. Let's see if that works.
Sure.
Can you guys see it?
Yes, yeah. Okay, I mute
Fantastic.
myself so you can go ahead.
Terrific. Well, hi everybody. And thank you, Bahar. My name is Kimberly Stone. I'm a Senior Program Officer here with the Canada Border Services Agency. I was an officer that worked with travelers coming into both Vancouver and Montreal Airport, and I now work behind the scenes. So first of all, just congratulations to everybody on your acceptance to Memorial University. It's certainly been a very long time since I've been to university, but I too went to school out of my home country. So I definitely know the excitement and the nervousness in wanting to get everything done. So right now I'm going to quickly just give you an overview on advanced declaration. Advanced declaration is it's an optional feature here in Canada that's in our ArriveCAN app that allows you to submit your customs and immigration declaration up to 72 hours before your arrival here in Canada. And this is not just for Canadian citizens, but for international or for foreign national travelers as well. So you guys can all use it. You can just, I'm going to explain a little bit how it works, and then I'm going to show you how you're going to get it. But you'll be able to do your customs and immigration declaration up to 72 hours before your flight to Canada. So the way it works is you're going to get the application on your smart device, and you're going to answer the questions. The questions are incredibly clear. There should be nothing that you can't answer. Even as a foreign national, it's your intention for being here, what you're bringing in. It's as simple as that. You're going to submit. All of your information is going to be uploaded to our cloud service. And when you land at the airport, you're either going to use a primary inspection kiosk, which is at all of our 10 international airports that have advanced deck, or an electronic gate, which right now is only available at Toronto. You're going to scan your passport and your declaration is going to appear. You will not have to redo your declaration at this kiosk. So it saves you a ton of time. It's as if all the questions and anything you were unsure of can be answered in advance. It's going to take your photo, print a receipt, and an officer is going to direct you on your way. Now, for those of you who have not been to Canada before on your study permit, you will still have to obtain your study permit. This does not eliminate that portion, but you will faster and easier be able to get into that line, and an officer will direct you to the line to get that study permit. And once you go through that process, you'll grab your stuff and away you go. So this is a small video just to let you know what Advanced Declaration is all about. I do hope that the sound works, if you'll just bear with me. Can you guys hear it?
No, we can't.
No? Hmm. Let's see. I did choose sound. I'm so sorry. Uh, you know what, guys? I'm not a web user. I'm usually a Teams presenter.
Maybe you need to unplug your headset. Let's give it a
You
try.
know what? I can't because I am
Okay.
amongst a shared office, and I don't think
Oh,
it would be
okay.
nice to share it with everybody.
I see, I see.
Um,
We
so
can
if,
watch the video, and then if you want, you can share the video and we will send it to students who completed
perfect.
our arrivals
Okay,
for.
there is, the entire text is written. If you can see the wording, then you can,
Yeah,
okay, great. So I'll continue with that then.
perfect.
Oh, you know what? Actually, let me just see. Let's try that. Again, very sorry about the sound there. So just to review some of the quick advantages of Advanced Declaration. So as I mentioned, all of our travelers can prepare their declarations at their own pace in a preferred environment before their flight here to Canada. You need to know that you can certainly edit it upon your arrival. So if anything changes, if you pack something after you filled your declaration for customs, you can make an edit at the kiosk. Way fewer touch points. You won't have to be touching a bunch of buttons on the kiosk. Your questions have already been answered. Obviously, it is a modernized experience with new tools, and it is 50% faster to get through the kiosk or gate. And The final thing here is these handouts have already been sent to Memorial University. Bahar, if you need new ones, I'll send them again. But the QR codes are what everybody can scan to be able to get the application, to be able to download the correct application for doing advanced deck. And if there's any questions, of course, don't hesitate to ask. And that's it. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have in regards to the process. And I will.
Amazing. Thank you. Do international students need to submit any immigration related documents when they are completing this form or not?
No,
No. Okay.
they do
They
not.
just
They
need
must
to
have
answer.
everything with them, but
Mhm.
no, they do not need to submit anything.
Okay.
They will have to state what their purpose of travel is, and for that it will be studying.
Okay. And if they face any delays in their flight, is there any way to update that because the information will be deleted after 72 hours? It
That
said.
is correct,
Mhm.
although I mean you're talking a very long
Long delay. Yeah.
delay.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, it can be your profile, sorry, is there, and yes, you can make changes to it if you're stuck in an airport, not
Mhm.
a problem. And resubmit again, not a problem, but you shouldn't have to. I'm not anticipating anyone having days worth of delays.
Hopefully. Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions? Yeah, I see one hand. Eugene, please go ahead.
Okay, is it my microphone working?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I have some questions about what to bring into Canada or not. And actually, I'm needing some doctor medicines and also kind of vitamins and other vitamins called red ginseng in Korea, and also some kind of household medicines like Tylenols. So, is there some status or what information that I can know about or what to bring or what to bring or not at the
Yes,
airport in
so
Canada?
what I will recommend is any type of prescription medicine, you need to have your prescription. You should have a copy of your original prescription with you, and everything needs to be in the original packaging with your name, like as if you went to a doctor here. Your name is on there, your doctor's name is on there, the full description of what's in the bottle is there. You can't be changing bottles around. It has to be fully in original packaging. In regards to supplements and vitamins, if you can buy them here in Canada, I would suggest you do that. If it's just, Tylenol, that's fine if you want to finish off your bottle. But again, we can get that here. But I can't speak for all vitamins and supplements, as some do contain ingredients that are not allowed in the country. But what I am going to do is I am going to send Bahar a link once I finish with you at this presentation that she can forward. It is a link that the public can use, and you can look up ingredients and product names and see if it's able to come into the country.
Perfect. And the prescription that they need to bring, it should be translated to English if it's not, right?
That is correct. Or French is fine as
Or
well.
French. Okay.
But it needs to be one of the two official languages here in Canada.
Okay, so I'm just preparing the one more question. I'm just preparing for the prescriptions in English. Yeah, a few days after this session, and also, uh, so for, do you mean that the other supplements, vitamins can be just, I can check the ingredients that from the link you just passed it over here, and then I can pack in my
If
supplements
it
and bring
says
to
that they
Canada.
are allowed to come into Canada, yes. If it
Okay.
says that they are not, then no.
Okay, so from that status, I can just decide what to bring or not. Then, is it correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have one question here. So John is asking, can the AD be downloaded from Google Play Store?
Can
Like
AD be
the
downloaded
app.
from?
Yeah, the app, I mean. I think they mean the app, the declaration.
I believe
Advanced.
placed. That I'm not sure. I know that I've only been asked ever and I'm not a technology savvy person, but I
Right.
know Android or iOS, Apple. I haven't heard of any other
Yeah.
way the
So,
apps work.
okay.
But in
Yeah,
other words, you could at this time still do it from a desktop computer, a web-based desktop computer. It doesn't actually have to be an app at this point in time. That may change in the future. So if you don't have a smartphone or tablet that you travel with, you can still do it on a computer.
Kimberly, do you mind to share the web version of the website
Yep,
that
I will
folks
send
can?
that to you as well.
Amazing. And if you can just put it on the chat box, that would be great as well. But both work, because there is another question about, is there any app or website for the advanced declaration? Yes, there is.
You want to know what, Bahar? I didn't
Yeah,
come prepared with it, but you'll still be in your presentation when I get it to you. So if
sounds great. Yeah.
great.
Yep. And for folks who are here, if you have submitted arrivals form, I will send you the links that Kimberly just mentioned. Or you can send an email to arrivals@mon.ca and ask for the links, and we will provide them to you. Another question, my flight company set up an only 1 hour and 20 minutes stop at Toronto Pearson before hopping to St. John's. Do you think this will be enough to complete the student permit process? Also, what happens if it takes too long and I miss my last flight?
So you have an hour and 20 minutes at which airport
Pearson, Toronto.
before you go? From experience, sorry, no, that's not enough time. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. That is cutting it super, super close. And I don't think that's giving you enough time. You might want to take advantage now and ask them to reschedule you. It might mean that you need to spend an evening in Toronto and only fly out the next day. But you cannot leave Toronto until you get your study permit because nowhere else is going to give it to you. That is your port of entry.
And also, you can check with the company that you booked your flight. Based on my experience, some airlines, they are flexible to reschedule your next flight if you miss it because of the immigration process. So just give them a call or contact them to see what their policy is. And please be mindful that you need to pick up your luggages in Toronto as well for your flight to St. John. So you need more time to do that after you get your immigration sorted. So as Kimberly mentioned, it wouldn't be an enough time, especially if you are arriving late August, early September. Many new students are coming, and the airports will be busy.
Exactly. And I just was able to, lucky me,
Right.
find the two websites. So the first one that I linked is the web-based version of Advanced Declaration. And the second one that I linked is it's called AIRS, which stands for Automated Import Reference System. And like I said, the public can use it, and you can find any type of food or a kind of food, plant, or animal product, basically, is what it's for.
Right. Mhm. So Eugene, I think you can check that website for your medication question, right?
That is correct. And the most important thing I have to say to everybody is you have to declare what you bring in. That is the most important part.
And is it safe to say that if they are not sure, they check yes, and then
That is
yeah.
correct, because if you do not declare it and it's taken away, there could be a penalty. But if you do declare it and it can't come in, it just can't come in. And at least you declared, and there's no penalty.
Mhm. Okay, great. Let's see if there's an how long is enough time for the transit to St. John's after arriving in the first port of entry, considering the need to get the study permit?
It's not an easy answer. I'm sorry. It's airport dependent. Um, uh, it's how many people are on the flight, how many people are waiting. Uh, you know, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal are our busiest airports. If you're arriving at a smaller airport, it might go faster. At the same time, the busiest airports are also have more staff. It could be anywhere from 30 minutes to hours. Again, it's a lot of students do come into our country. We're thrilled about that, but there's a waiting. You have to wait to get it.
Based on what I see during the past few years, I'd say at least 3 hours, at least. Like,
Yeah, I know that there's
but
been great improvements, but I
yeah,
think that's a very good
yeah,
rule of thumb.
yeah. And again, you need to pick up your luggages, so consider that time as well. And you will be exhausted after a long flight, so you cannot move around fast enough, and we don't want you to lose any important documents. So don't rush into it and take your time and be safe.
Correct.
And I think
For
there is,
whoever said that the only point of entry is Toronto, that is not the case. We have more than 10 international airports here in Canada, but 10 are the most popular, and I doubt you're going to go to any of the others. But if you're coming from London, I want to say that almost all of our airports accept flights from London.
um,
Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa.
does one semester exchange student also need a study permit? Um, Eugene, you need to contact our immigration advising team about your question about immigration process. We cannot answer that. The email is immigrationadvising@mon.ca. And please make sure that your mic is muted. My contract between Air Canada and Emirate Airlines established and all baggage will be delivered in St. John's, not in Montreal. Mohammed, double check on that, but if you are sure, that's fine.
And just to answer that as well, please double check. These contracts do change a lot, and sometimes it's as simple as putting your bag on a different in a different area. But please note that CBSA has the right to pull any bags off that they choose. So it's always good to make sure that your bags have gotten on to the next flight.
And Mohammed, sometimes they mean that the cost is covered, so your baggages until that you will receive it in St. John, they're all covered, but maybe you need to pick them up and just put it in different terminals. So in case, be aware of that. I have over 4 hours to get my study permit at Toronto. Would that be enough before the flight to St. John's? As we already mentioned, we cannot answer that question, but usually between 3 hours to 6, 7 hours, I think you will be safe. But all of you, if you have booked your flight, talk to your airline and just ask their policy if you miss your next flight because of the immigration process. Do you have to pay the arrival team? No, you don't need to have. You don't need to pay arrivals team. It's part of the service that university provide to new student. My friend came to Canada a week ago and received his baggages in St. John's. That's great, Mohammed. Then. And Moeen, I see your hand up. You can go ahead.
Hi there.
Hi.
Uh, I had a question about the identification documents I have to bring with myself in the landing, in my first landing. So uh, I've been getting this that I need a police clarification, a registration or deposit for my first semester, or like information on where I'm going to stay. I wanted to know that what are the exact documents I have to bring with myself for actually getting my study permit.
Do you want me to go ahead about that, Kimberly?
You know what?
So
It might.
yeah,
I'll
sorry.
let you go ahead.
And if you have anything to add, please do so.
Mhm.
So you will need your passport, obviously, your admission letter, and please have a hard copy of them as well. And it would be easier for the officer to review your documents if you have the hard copy. So don't have all of your documents on your phone, on your laptop. Just that would be make it easier for the officer. So just have I don't know, a package of all of your documents. So your passport, your offer letter, like admission letter from Memorial, your enrollment verification. So if you are a grad student, you have already registered, make sure to do that and receive that enrollment verification using the self-service feature at your MON account. And if you have already arranged your off-campus housing, which you should do, either if it's an Airbnb, on-campus housing, hotel, or if you manage to rent a place, just copy the communication of what you have arranged for your off-campus housing in case an immigration officer ask you about that. You don't necessarily need to pay your tuition fee because, and you can inform the officer and again, copy, print a copy of like the deadline to pay your tuition at Memorial and say that, oh, I have until September this and that to pay my tuition fee and that's my plan, but I have already registered. This is my enrollment verification. I'm studying this. This is my admission letter. So just be ready to answer any potential questions and have all the documents to support what you are saying to the officer. And again, please print all the documents. And Kimberly, do you want to add anything to what I
I
said?
have nothing to add. You basically your answer was terrific. I think your fear is of not having like the payment and so forth. The As Bahar said, you don't need to pay your tuition. You just need to be able to show that you can support yourself as a student in this country. That might be what one of the officers is looking for.
So do they need to have the bank statement that because when they applied for the study permit or?
They shouldn't, but I like to have more than less
Yep.
personally. Again, it's just you've been accepted both to the school and immigration wise, but it just is good to show that you can support yourself while you're here studying.
Yeah. So have that bank statement that you submitted for your immigration application. If you are receiving any fund, bursary, scholarship from the university, have that document as well to show the officer. If you have already um, got the offer for being a teaching assistant or research assistant have that document with you as well. And and I believe that you already have your police certificate, just that have that in as a document with you in case they ask, but they probably won't, but it's good to have them all with you. Yes, documents can be black and white. Just make sure that the quality of printing is good enough and it is readable. I just don't want you to arrive and talk to the immigration officer when your phone is out of charge and you need to show the document on your phone, which is a small screen, or you need to bring your laptop. You're not sure if it's working, if it's charged or not. It's just make the process complicated, and immigration officers are very busy. They must be tired. So just make the process for yourself and them easier and less stressful. That's why we encourage everyone to have all the documents in like printed, but make sure to have them on your laptop and your phone as well. So have backup with yourself. Do I need to report to anybody at MON or just go ahead and do my course registration online? I'm asking for the purpose of validating my studentship. So you need to have your enrollment verification. So make sure to register. Both undergraduate students and graduate students can register now. And you can contact MON to get advice on which courses you need to take. You can contact Academic Advising Center. If you are a graduate student, you can contact the School of Graduate Studies. But you don't need any permission, or you don't need to inform us. But in purpose of your immigration process, you need to have your memorial admission as well as the enrollment verification showing that you are registered for fall semester. Do I need to bring medical examination results to the border? Additionally, how can I prove that I will be living on campus? If you were required to provide medical examination results, just have that documentation with you in case you were asked. And if you have offered a space on campus, you should have received an email saying that you should have paid $500 to secure your accommodation on campus. So you should have that communication with the students' residences, and that would be a proof that you have a place on campus. If you don't have that, or if you are not sure, email housing@mon.ca. I observed that most core courses for my department are already full. What do I do in this instance? I'm only able to register. You need to contact your department or academic advising center. Again, if you are a graduate student, make sure to contact sgs@mon.ca and they will connect you to a correct direction. Okay, about the off-campus housing question, we can get back to that after Harim's presentation. Is there any other questions about your arrivals process, what you need to bring, about the advanced declaration? Panis?
Hi everyone. Sorry, I don't know if I have a chance to ask my question, but thank you for giving that to me. Okay, thank you. And thanks, Kim, for being here for our students and us. My name is Panis, and I work with MON as an international student immigration advisor. I'm licensed to do so, and I have two questions. One is, we see that each term that students don't receive their study permit at the border. Normally happens with ETA required passports, passport holders, and just that students are aware as well. So they what is your recommendation in order to not to miss that? Understand also happens with the students that they have a flight to take, and for some reason they don't go to the immigration line in order to get their study permit at the first port of entry. But is it like after declaration, after doing the declaration process, they go and see the officer? So if you can touch base on that, so that student aware at what stage and how they will see
Yes.
the officer.
So if they do not have their study permit in hand, it is supposed to be obtained at the first arrival into Canada. If for some reason they leave the airport and without their study permit, they are not able to study until they get this permit. It has to be obtained prior to any studying, or if they were expected to do any form of work on campus, they will not be allowed to do that. So my suggestion is to not leave that original airport until you speak with an officer. If that does, that would be the solution. Do not leave until you speak with someone. If it so happens that you do, you're going to have to probably make your way to a land border when you finally get to your final destination, and figure it out there. But realistically, you're supposed to, at your first entry, receive your study permit. So take it upon yourself to make sure you speak with an officer prior to leaving, prior to connecting. There will be officers present when you land. In regards to no study permit available, no one should be flying into the country unless they have received their documentation from IRCC approving their permit. If they do come to Canada prior, they are coming as a visitor and cannot study until they receive that document. Once that document is received, in theory, they will have to leave the country. There are instances when people do get their permits inland, but I don't have anyone's specific case in front of me. So unless you've received your welcome letter from IRCC, you shouldn't be arriving, and you should not be leaving the airport until you obtain your permit. You can't come assuming that everything is fine. That's
Thank
how,
you.
if that answers that. Just like
Yeah,
any other document, it's a key piece to being able to study here in Canada.
yeah, absolutely. I just was wondering if there is like a stage, for example, first you go through the declaration, based on the arrival that you filled out. After the declaration, you will see an officer. If you got confused,
100%.
ask
So
for it.
every
Okay.
single person will see an officer after the kiosk.
Okay.
And if for some reason an officer does not direct you, say, great, where's the line to go get my study permit?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And it does happen that sometimes system is down. So they come to the border, system is down, and then perhaps the officer says that your study permit going to be sent to your house. Can you speak around that or any recommendations?
In that case, you're right, the system can be down and you could be let into the country as a visitor. It's very rare. It is very, very, very rare. And if that is the case, then you have your file number, you have your study permit number, you have your UCI from IRCC, you have all these things. There are ways to obtain them later, but you're talking that is a very, very odd situation.
Thank you. So is that your recommendation, kind of just listen to the officer for directions and see what they say in order to have the full information before leaving
100%.
the airport?
100%. And as most people will be arriving Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Ottawa, or one of the other airports, don't grab your connecting flight until you ask someone where the lineup is for immigration.
Thank you. Yeah, because we have students asking for direction from us, but we don't know what has happened at the airport or what was the communication between student and the officer. So in those circumstances, which is rare, as you mentioned, student need to listen to the officer and see what is the direction you're
100%.
to. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Hanishan, do you mind if I ask you some immigration-related questions that a student posted on the chat box?
Yes, of course.
I'm only going to study in Canada for 1 semester, less than 6 months, which means I have only applied for an ETA. Do I still need a study permit?
I did see that email coming in our mailbox as well. So yeah, thank you for that. For exchange students, studying less than 6 months, not necessarily you need a study permit. You can apply for one if you wish. There is a process, country-specific requirements, and all of that. But if you're coming to study less than 6 months, you just have to carry, well, of course, making sure you have the TRV, TA, so your entry to Canada, the authorization to enter Canada, you need to obtain that one. And then carrying the documentation that you are going to be studying less than 6 months or whatever it is. So all the documentation that the like MUN sent you in order to tell you what your status going to be and what your plan going to be. You still need to have a plan, all of those stuff in order to what you want to do in Canada, whether it's 1 day or 60 days.
Another question is, if I have TRV, do I still need an ETA?
No, when we talk about TRV, ETA is about the nationality, the citizenship, the passport you're carrying, the passport you're using in order to enter Canada. So certain countries are TRV, temporary resident visa required countries, so they need to obtain that one. And some other countries, they can obtain ETA, meaning that like that's the way they obtain ETA. So some countries are TRV required countries. Kimberly, if you have anything to add, please go ahead.
You answered it beautifully.
Okay, thank you.
And for SIN number, I answered that at the end of my presentation. It was another question. Inaz, you need to elaborate on your question, please. I'm not sure what you mean. And can I land at St. John's Airport and receive my study permit there? There are
Yes.
very limited direct flight to St. John's, so make sure that you book your flight to St. John's, Newfoundland, because there is St. John, New Brunswick, and sometimes the students are confused about that. So it's YYT, the code for the airport. And as I've mentioned, there are not many direct flights to St. John's. So there are rare cases that the students end up coming, like their first port of entry is St. John's. But Kimberly, if that's the case, could you elaborate on that?
If that's the case, absolutely. There will be officers ready to be able to issue the permit.
Thanks. And it was a question, even though I put some medicines which is sold in an ordinary supermarket in the hold baggage, should I have to show the information of them in English at the custom?
If they're ordinary and over the counter, please purchase them here. You really, everything needs to be in a language that we can understand. So if something has to be in one of the official languages here in Canada, if it's not, I'm not saying that officers won't make every attempt to figure it out, but you're making it difficult. And I think the easiest thing to assure that it can enter the country is to purchase it here.
Thank you. And Karim is asking for the verification enrollment letter. What type should I get detailed, standard or term, for the officer for my study permit? Honey?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. So for the verification of enrollment letter, what type should I get? Detailed, standard, or term? So verification of enrollment, it's like on the self-serve. So I don't know detailed, standard, or term. I don't know what does that mean. But technically, it is that they're verifying you're enrolled in the fall term. And then more important than that is your actual letter of admission. Just my understanding is officers, they don't know information about Memorial University programs or any of those. It's your role to, the onus is on you to give that information as to what program you are. We have students that they don't even know what program they are or what's the length of their program. So make sure you are aware of those information in order to give that information to the officer, because they don't know about all the details of your program registration and how it works.
Thank you. I heard that there is no flight ticket out of Canada. They are not allowed to enter the country. Is that right? Sorry, I don't understand your question. If you can rephrase that, we can answer it. I will arrive at 29 August and I will stay at a hotel for 3 days before I go to the housing on campus. Is there, will be there any problem? So just make sure that you have like the email confirmation that you have booked a hotel for 3 days, and you have a confirmation from on-campus housing student residences that you have reserved a spot on campus in case the officer asks you a question about your about your accommodation arrangement. I have a layover at Montreal for 8 hours. Will I get my study permit there when I land in St. John's?
Montreal.
Montreal, your first port of entry, you need to get your immigration documents over there. I purchased a one-way ticket to St. John's. Do I need to show a return ticket in order to enter Canada?
Do you need to show a return ticket?
Return ticket. Yeah.
In this case, you're not coming in as a visitor. Visitors normally need to show return tickets. If you have your IRCC documents for your study permit and all the other paperwork that's just been discussed, no, you don't need a return ticket. It's expected that you are going to be staying for more than 6 months.
I have been enrolled and oh, I'm so sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. In other words, your permit that you obtain will show when you have to leave Canada by. So
I have been enrolled and I have the admission letter, but which one is enrollment verification document? So you have the admission letter, which shows that you are admitted to study here. And then enrollment verification shows that you are registered, for example, for fall semester. So you have to register for this coming semester if you plan to attend Memorial. So that's the difference between the admission letter and enrollment verification letter. Yes, the session is recorded and will be available by August 16 on our website. And I will landing August 30th, but at 2 a.m. is the airport greetings. We will talk about that after this. I will talk about health insurance after this as well. If I stay for less than 6 months, 1 semester, do I need a return ticket?
if you should. I can't say that there's no such thing as need, but you should have one. Yes. Because there's nothing that details your exit. If you're you're a visitor, you should have your exit plan.
I still have a conditional acceptance letter and I'm currently awaiting regular acceptance letter. Is it okay if I don't have the letter when I get to immigration? I do have an enrollment verification letter and I have paid my tuition fees. Panis?
It all depends on, so you looks like you have obtained your study permit. So that's the main thing, is that you have been approved for a study permit in order to receive it at the border. And you need to carry most up-to-date documents. So based on whatever you submitted and you receive that study permit approval, you need to carry those documentation in addition to any other documents you received after that in order to present it fully to the officer.
Thank you. How can I get the enrollment verification letter? Eugene, you need to request that through self-service. Send us an email at arrivals@mun.ca and we will send you the link and the explanation on how to do that. Can I bring my medicine with me or should I purchase them in Canada?
Medications
Kimberly,
can come, just have your prescriptions.
and prescriptions need to be translated in English or French if they are not in these two languages. Last call for questions related to immigration or when you arrive in Canada for the customs. Any questions related to that? And Harim and I will talk about social insurance number, MCP, health insurance, and off-campus housing after that. Okay, thank you so much, Kimberly. I appreciate it. It was
Thank you
very
for inviting me. It's
informative.
been very nice.
Of course. And thank you, Panisjan. Have a great
Thank
day.
you, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
okay.
Bye. So we will continue with the presentation, and then at the end of the presentation, you can ask more questions. And hopefully some of these slides can answer some of your questions. Can you see my slide? Harim, can you see my slide?
Yes, now there was a lag, but we can see
Okay.
it.
Okay, amazing. So for airport greeting services, so for the fall semester, we will have airport greeting services from August 30th until September the 6th. Greeters who are student employees will be present at our welcome desk in the airport, and they would provide essential information about St. John's Memorial University. If you have any questions about how to take a cab, or anything that you need as an information or an assistant. If you arrive during that period, we will have a student employee at our information desk that you can reach out for an assistant. And you don't need to request a greeter upon your arrival. Just proceed directly to our welcome desk located next to the baggage claim area. And please keep your questions for the end of the presentation. So all international students, if you are registered for fall semester, you are automatically enrolled in foreign health insurance. And foreign health insurance covers you for the whole fall semester, starting from September 1st until end of December. If you plan to arrive before September 1st, we highly encourage you to purchase early arrival insurance from foreign health insurance provider, which is GuardMe company. So you can just go to guard.me/MUN and select the tab which says early arrival. And you just need to select which date you plan to arrive, and then your last day would be before September the 1st, and they show you the estimation of the amount you need to pay. It is not expensive. If it cost for 2 weeks, it can cost you around 30 Canadian bucks. But health in Canada is very, very, like health services are very, very expensive. So in case you end up at the hospital, emergency room, if you need a surgery or any medical attention, if you don't have any insurance, it can cost thousands of dollars. So please make sure to purchase early arrival insurance for yourself and for your dependents if you are arriving with your spouse or your children. And if you have any question about that, again, you can send us an email at arrivals@mon.ca and we can help. But the process is very easy. You can just need to go to that website and purchase the early arrival if you are arriving before September 1st. Another thing, so iSent app or platform is available for all memorial students, new international students. You can complete the arrivals form using iSent app or platform. Please make sure to do that. So we have a record of your information. So for example, we can send you a reminder about our information sessions, send you a reminder about different activities that are happening during orientation weeks. So we would appreciate it if you can complete that arrivals form. Also, iSent app have different features like pre and post arrival checklist, housing information, dates for MCP clinic and SIN clinics, emergency contacts, information about families if you are bringing your family, and many more. So sign up for the app. It's easy, it's very user friendly, and you can either download the app or you can just go to the platform on your laptop or your desktop and use the information. And if you have any questions, again, you can email us at arrivals@mon.ca and we can help you out. So for social insurance number and medical care plan clinics, these are the dates. Again, they are available at the iCenter app for your review. Also, one of the Canadian bank, it's called TD, they will be at our office as well if you would like to open your bank account. You can just come and talk to them and to see if that's the bank you want to open your bank account here. I'm just gonna quickly review what type of documents you need for your social insurance number. I'm not gonna go through them all. They are all available at our website. And when you come to our office, we have all the information as well. But if you, so having social insurance number is required if you plan to work in Canada. So once you enter Canada, going through your immigration process, make sure to check your study permit to see if it has a line saying that you may be eligible to work in Canada. If it's not there, just ask immigration officer the reason and make sure to ask that question. Sometimes it's an error, and if it's an error, they can fix it at the airport when you are with the immigration officer. But if you don't communicate that and it's an error, afterwards you need to apply again and going through a longer process. So make sure always to read the study permit that they issue for you at the airport. Check your name spelling, check the work requirements, check everything on that. Don't rush to anything. You have the right to just sit there and review the document and ask questions from the immigration officer. So in order to get your social insurance number, you need, when you come to our clinic, you need to have your original passport, original study permit. If you are coming, if your spouse or your partner is coming with you, they need to have their open work permit. And there is a SIN application form that is available for you to fill out. Again, for social insurance number, you need to have all the original documents to show to the Service Canada officer, but they won't take those documents. They just need to see the original document. And you cannot apply for your spouse on their behalf. Everybody needs to be there for themselves. So for your MCP application, there are different documents that you need. There will be MCP officers here to review your documents, and then they will take a copy of your documents with themselves, and then they will mail you your MCP card. Again, I'm not going to go through all of the documents because I want to have more time for off-campus housing presentation, but email us if you have any question about this. And all of these information are available at our website for your review if you would like to apply for MCP or if you want to see if you are eligible or not. Again, if you have any question, please reach out and you can email us at arrivals@mon.ca. Stop my screen. And it was a question before, Harry, you start your presentation. If you have a stop in Toronto and you plan to stay in Toronto for a bit, you can apply for social insurance number online. If you have enough time there and have a trusted mailing address. But otherwise, you need to come to Canada, like to St. John's with your study permit, and then you can either come to social insurance number clinic or apply online or go to Service Canada to receive your SIN if you are eligible. Okay, Harry, go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a couple of minutes to that. Okay, so I'm going to.
And as a reminder, please keep your microphone muted and keep all of your questions for after Harim's presentation. Thank you.
Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, well, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Harim John, and I'm an international student advisor for campus housing. And when I saw the list of the attendants here, I saw some of the familiar names, and well, good to see you again, and then welcome. So because we don't have that much time, I'll just go into the my slides right away. So, okay. Before I go into off-campus housing, I want to just briefly check the on-campus housing versus off-campus housing. And if there are like some on-campus students here, like maybe you don't like, and if you're busy, you are free to leave. And then because it is, I'm going to be heavily focused on off-campus housing after this. So for graduate students, if you are interested in on-campus housing, unfortunately, there is no space available for the fall semester anymore. There is an extensive, long wait list. So, well, I'm sorry that you would have to find something off campus. But if you're an undergrad student, and if you're still interested in on-campus housing, there is some rooms available for undergraduate students on Peyton College. There is no single room available. It has to be double room, but there are rooms available. So please apply through your housing portal. And for the first semester, if you're new students, we highly recommend to stay on campus housing because it has a lot of advantages, like where you can save a lot of time and energy to go to your classes, and you don't have to like try, and then it takes a lot of time to get situated and settle down. So yes, so if there are any undergrad students who are interested in on-campus, please apply because you still can get some get a bed on campus. Okay, I'll go into the overview. So I divided this session to the three parts. The first one is the before you do the search. And so you need to understand your needs, and then you need to understand what types of rental units are available, and then how you should budget. The second part would be how to search. So when you search for campus housing, where you should look for your rooms or the houses, or what to check when you see any ads. And then when you do that, you need to be very vigilant to the scams because there are a lot of scammers going around, and then we don't want you to be scammed because it's well, needless to say, it is going to be very traumatic. And then the last session is when you find something you're interested, and then you need to know how to approach the ads, because it is not just like they are going to lie around for you to take. You need to actually reply to the listings and then arrange a viewing or like some form of viewings. And then maybe the landlords will ask you to submit some documents to check if you are going to be the reliable tenants for them. Okay, so I'm going to start from before the search. Okay, we are going to go to understand your needs. I included this part because it is very important. I find a lot of students, yes, it is very urgent. You need to find housing. And then the most important things are usually the affordability, like how much the rent is. However, because like if you just to get the place based on the location and maybe the affordability, like how much the rent is, there can be a lot of things that can affect your life. And I've seen too many students that I would hope to that are getting a lot of troubles, and then they are going through a lot of stress, and sometimes like really like big burden of like financial issues. So well, let's go through this needs that you need to address. Okay. So I included the affordability as first because like for many and for many of us, it is the most important thing when you are looking for the housing. But you need to understand there is no fixed price for housing. So the cost will vary depending on the location, type of housing, and age of the buildings and amenities and a lot of things. So yeah, a lot of students reach out to me, which is great. I welcome all the students. However, they say, oh, I want a room that is on my $600 a month, including all the utilities. Can you help me find it? Yes, they exist, but then, like just it doesn't mean like the whole thing just because it is a 600. It doesn't mean that everything is satisfied. So you need to understand there's no fixed price really. So you need to think about all this rental term, which is like it can be month-to-month agreement, or maybe you need to sign a fixed term lease. And you need to think about the security deposit. I'll go deeper about the security deposit when we're going through the budgeting section, and then utilities as well. All these affordability things I'm going to go again in the end. So the next one is proximity, which means where the housing is. So it is important to know the neighborhood where you're going to live in, as well as the distance to the campus. So yes, it is very important that you live close distance to the campus, so you don't have to worry about commuting, right? But it is not everything. When you think about the location, you need to think about the neighborhood as well. If it is close to any grocery stores, pharmacies, general shopping areas, hospitals, places of worship, or schools or childcare for children if you are coming here with your family. And with location, the best tool would be the Google Map. So make friends with Google Map when you're looking for housing, especially if you're not here. And check where the location is, and then check the directions as well. You can do that through the Google Map and put the from the location of the house that you are looking for, and then put the Memorial University as your destination, and then you can see what kind of ways you can take to get to the campus. So if you see only one bus that's available, and then the bus the frequency is only an hour, maybe it's not going to be ideal, because if you miss one bus, then you will have to wait 1 hour. Maybe it is okay in the summertime, but then well, come winter, it might not be very pleasant. So you have to think of your needs and your comfort levels when you think about it. and theirs is a metro bus. So when you think about, when you say about the public transportation in St. John's, that means a metro bus. And you can go to the metro bus website and then check the routes and then the rates and fees and fares and everything. There is some student discounted option for towns as well. So you can take advantage of that option as well. But then check if how many buses are available, and then what kind of how long it takes by bus as well. So the next one is something that is most overlooked when a lot of students are looking for the housing, but it is really important. I cannot overemphasize to understand like the importance of understanding what you need to feel safe, and then you need to reflect on your comfort level. So there are many things like, so if the house is in the basement or above ground. So I put it there as a basement versus above ground, but it is kind of wrong because basement always just means the first floor of the house. So it can be still above ground even if it is on the basement apartment. So, but you need to want to check if it is above ground or maybe it is more in the underground, because some people feel not comfortable living on the underground, right? And because the windows can be smaller on the ground, and then you need light sometimes like to feel more healthy and comfortable. So just it doesn't matter what you want. If you're comfortable, it's fine, but just to understand what you are comfortable with. And the bathroom access is one of the important things because for some reason, a lot of houses in St. John's, especially the ones in the central, they come with only one bathroom while there are like 3 or 4 or 5 bedrooms. So in that case, you will have to share the bathroom with many other roommates, and then it's well, it also depends on like how you're comfortable with, and but if you need like more free bathroom access, then it is something that you need to think about. Other things that are more is to understand the room size or how many roommates live in the unit, and how many people are sharing the common areas like kitchen, bathroom again, or the living room, or the basement, or the laundry. There are many things. And if the room comes fully furnished or unfurnished is one of the things you need to think about as well. And then, well, some houses, a lot of housing nowadays don't allow you to smoke in the unit. So, well, like, yeah, I would say about 90%. So they would say like no smoking in the house. So, well, don't be surprised when you see this. And then the pet, I don't think a lot of you will come here with a pet, but then, so I'm just going to test this. But well, these are things that you will see when you're looking for housing. And the guest welcome is if you're renting an independent unit, like 1-bedroom apartment or like studio apartment or something like that, the landlord can dictate if you can have that guest or not. It's up to you. However, if you are going to live within landlord in one house in one unit, well, in this case, it can be an issue. So please understand what you're getting into. And then how close to amenities, we did it under proximity, but anyways, it is related to safety and comfort as well. So the next one is types of rental units. So I'll start with renting a room in a shared accommodation because it is the most common option for a lot of single students. So it is suitable for single students, and it's also the most economic option as well because it is most affordable. So in this case, the living spaces such as a bathroom or kitchen are shared, like we talked about it. And then there are 2 types of the shared accommodation. I want you to understand this because it can be very important. So the first option, first type is you can rent a room in a house or apartment with other roommates, which means there is no landlord living in the unit. And number two, the option is you can rent a room in an owner-occupied family home, or sometimes some subletting home is also included here. But like there are two different options, and then it can be important for you to understand the difference because it can affect your lifestyle as well. I will go with the second option as well because it is more distinct. So when you are living in this like a house, that usually means there is a family home, or like there are older adults they had a family home and then they had their children in their house, but then maybe they grew up, they left home, so they have spare bedrooms, or in any cases, anyways, they have spare bedroom in their house they want to rent out to one of the students. So in this case, the advantage is really good because they can help you settle down in new culture and new community. They can help you drive around sometimes, and they can give you a lot of information that is very useful for you to like get situated here. Okay, can you please mute your microphone, please? Thank you. So in this case, so the advantage is very good, but the disadvantage, cons can be that if you don't get along with this landlord because you're not usually in the equal status, sometimes the students feel very uncomfortable, and then your life can be a little unpleasant as well. I hope it doesn't happen. And a lot of other landlords are really nice, but sometimes it is just about if you get along or not get along. So you just like need to understand like the situation that you are going to be in. And the best way to address this is like communication. Like you have to be very clear in your communication when you're moving in. Well, if you have a needs, any special things, and then if you're like expecting things, don't just hold it to yourself. Always communicate and then be clear so that they understand. If you don't say anything, they are not going to understand what you are like needing, what you're thinking. So please be clear in your communication. So then what about the other option, that if you are sharing a house with only the other roommates? Well, it's kind of evident on like what is a good thing. It is the cons that come with this family home situation, right? So in the case that you can maybe make other good friends, you can enjoy others like the company, and then exchange our information about your studies and then the campus life. However, the bad things then, are you wondering? It is because, well, I think that family home or the own occupied home can be managed better. They, they clean better, and a lot of things, like home maintenance. But often times in this house with the roommates, it is a kind of maybe prisoner's dilemma. So that, my roommate is not cleaning the kitchen, then why should I clean my kitchen? And so, well, it can be that way. So in this case, also you can communicate with your roommates and then set the date to clean everything. So, well, it can be all solved. It's just like you need to understand what you can expect. So the most important thing, maybe the price range is usually from 600 to 800 per month to rent a room in a shared accommodation. So, well, I told you there is no fixed price. And if there is one thing that I want to add here, there is always reason if there is the price, the number of the price. So usually $800 maybe come within a newer house, and maybe you will have like private bathroom, ensuite bathroom in your bedroom as well. So like when there is a price, there's always reason. So investigate why it is that price. And if you're comfortable with it, that is one like perfect. But you need to know like really what rental situation you are getting into. So in this type, utilities can be included in the rent, which means the other independent units, like it's usually utilities are not usually included in the rent. So we're going to go into it a little more after this slides. But anyways, so if utility is included in the rent, then well, you can only think about the rent that you pay, the fixed amount. If utilities are not included, it's usually split among the roommates, and then you need to find out how much you should expect to pay every month for utilities as well. And the second types of rental units would be renting an independent unit. If the first type was a shared accommodation, it is just you have an entire unit to yourself. And there are different types. For example, bachelor studio apartment, which means except for the bathroom, everything is in one space, like bedroom, kitchen even, and then living room. They are all in one space except for the bathroom. It is suitable for maybe one person or sometimes for a couple. And the other one is 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. And this is now at the moment, it seems the most popular units, and it's most fierce to secure one. And then the rent for these units are really high. So if you're looking for this, and then maybe we can have more chats separately. So please reach out to me. And when you talk about this 1 or 2 bedroom apartments, it usually means basement units. So I think there is some cultural aspects in this. So basement units are usually the first floor, the part of the first floor of a house. So when someone builds a house, they put 2 units there. They put small unit in their basement to rent out. So it is like most times there are other units, maybe the landlord's family live upstairs, or other like rental people are living upstairs. And in this case, you may share the driveway, or sometimes even the laundry access. It can be shared as well. Or if you are coming with a family, that you may have to rent the entire house with 2 or 3 or 4 bedrooms. So in Canada, maybe the cultural expectations can be very different. So here, the usual standard for 1 bedroom is for 2 people maximum occupants. So when you are coming here with 3 people, a lot of landlords, a lot of property management companies would expect you to get at least 2 bedroom apartment or 2 bedroom house. Even if you are comfortable within a smaller space, some landlords are not going to be okay with you to move into like smaller place that they think it is more suitable. And then there is insurance matters, because insurance companies usually insure to certain number of people if the house is a certain size. So there are a lot of aspects you think about. But again, because this session is mainly for single students, I will just like pass through. The other one is a property apartment management agencies apartments. So maybe for many of you, this will be like typical apartment type. So the matchbox apartment buildings, there are a lot of them in the town as well, in the central city. And then the 2 biggest apartment management companies are called Killam and Northview. And then if you have looked around, you may be familiar with these names. However, for the new student, it may be a little challenging to get a unit there, because they would ask you to submit your proof of income and things like that. So, well, if you're interested, maybe we can have a separate chat again. So for this price range, it can be very, very, well, you may understand why, because from studio apartment to entire house, it can be, very different. But please don't don't think like, if just because the $900 here, you can get the $900 place, because it is only maybe for a small studio apartment. And then nowadays, the rent is going really higher. It's increased a lot, like faster than before. So yeah, it's not ideal. But well, if you're a single student, like for some reason, maybe like it is really good that the room share price hasn't gone too expensive over the couple of years. And another thing about this independent units, it is utilities are not usually included in the rent, and it is called POU, pay your own utilities. So on top of the rent, you need to think about utilities to pay. And what utilities are there to think about? I will talk about it here. So when you budget for your housing, it is not just the monthly rent. Of course, it is the biggest portion of your budgeting, but it is not everything. And I put the security deposit on the fourth, but because it is only like one-time budget like needed, so one-time payment. So security deposit in NL, in Newfoundland and Labrador, well, the landlord can only ask up to 75% of the monthly rent. So for example, if the monthly rent is $1,000, security deposit can be only up to $750, and it is only for one time before you move in or when you move in. So if they are asking for more than that, well, please tell them, well, and then in NL, you cannot do that. Because it is different in Ontario and other provinces, and some landlords may not know it, not because they try to like scam you. It's like maybe they do, but not all the time. So, but you need to know that it can be only up to 75%, and you need to get it back when you move out. So the landlord are supposed to give you the security deposit back within 10 days after you move out. And if they don't, you can well file the you can file the dispute to claim and things like that. But then, well, when you do that, they can actually ask for the damages you may do in your house. So, well, it is not cut and dry when you think about all the security deposit and you have to get it back, because, well, you have some standards to live up to as well. So the best way to prevent all these disputes is that you take as many as like photos that you can take when you move in. It is the best evidence you can use to show that you didn't do any damage in the rental unit that you rented. So photos, please remember. And then when you pay the security deposit, also please make sure that you get the receipt. Or if you send it by the or Interact wire transport or internet email transport or whatever, please make a note there so that it is clear that you pay the security deposit and the amount of the deposit as well. And okay, I'll go back to the rent and then the monthly the expenses. So with the rent, you need to think about the utilities. In NL, there are three things: heat and light and Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is the most easy to understand one because you are going to use the internet and then, well, you need to pay for that. Here, if you are like getting on Wi-Fi, I think for a unit, it's like maybe average or like you can expect to pay about $100, which is not maybe the cheapest. However, you can sometimes get a promotion and get a discounted amount. And if you're sharing a place, then you can split this Wi-Fi amount as well. So the other one is heat and light. Heating is the biggest portion of the utilities in Newfoundland, not now, but when it becomes winter, the heating becomes a yeah, like the big thing because it can be quite cold here. So there are two types or three types of heating methods in Newfoundland. One is electricity and one is oil. And the newer houses come with heat pumps, which use electricity as well. But anyways, so that is the most economic option, but a lot of rental units don't come with heat pump or mini splits. So I'll just focus on the electricity and the oil. So which is better? I would say electricity because oil heating can be very expensive and you need to like get another account and then order it through these oil companies, and then they will come with an oil tank and all these things, and it can be very expensive. It depends on like the oil price because it changes every week. However, if you can, please go for electric heating. And the light means just electricity, like the lights that you use to like the fridge or to use the stove or or the laundry or computers, and it's not that much, I would say. Like so. Most of the utilities will be heavily focused on the heating in the winter. If you ask me how much, it really depends on as well on the house types, if it is insulated well, if it has good window system or the heating system. It can cost a lot less. And it also depends on your personal preferences. If you want your house to be toasty and warm, it'll cost a lot. If you don't mind some like cooler temperature, it'll cost less. So in the worst case scenario, to heat one house, which has maybe 3 or 4 bedrooms, if it is oil heating, I heard that it can cost up to like $800 to $1,000 for a month to heat the place. So please know when you are renting a place how much you should expect to pay for the utilities. And the other one is if it's furnished or unfurnished. So if it is furnished, it can be a little more expensive at first, but then because you don't need to buy furniture in the beginning, it'll save money. Okay. I'm sorry, can you put your mic on mute? So okay, it's a furnished place. Yeah. And if it is unfurnished, it can be cheaper, but then it can cost to furnish the place. You can buy like secondhand like furniture and things. Yes, but then you need to think about moving as well because delivery fees can be pretty expensive in Canada as well. And so it depends on. So if you're just going to be here for a few months or even a year, maybe furnished place will be better. But if you are planning to live here for a longer time, like a couple of years or even longer, maybe unfurnished will be better in the long run because the rent is cheaper in this case. And the transportation is in the end, but so, well, if your place is farther and you have to take the bus and then you need to put this transportating like the commuting costs in your budgeting as well. If it's walking distance, then you don't have to think about it, right? So just to put that in your budgeting when you budget as well. And tenant insurance is like the kind of more newer thing. A lot of landlords are asking you to get tenant insurance more and more. And it can be very important for you as well, not just because they are asking you to get it. Tenant insurance can insure your belongings in the house. So, well, if you lose something, if there is a burglary or something that they are going to like pay for your lost items. But also, I think what is more important when you get the tenant insurance is that, there can be occasions that the house needs a repairing. And in extreme cases, there can be flooding and there can be sewage backup. Although it sounds like improbable, it can happen. I've seen a lot of students that like going through this repair situation. And in this case, the house becomes uninhabitable. So you can't live in the unit. You have to leave the place and then find a temporary accommodation. And in this case, you are responsible for the temporary accommodation, not the landlords. And temporary accommodation, I think everyone knows, it can be very expensive. And in this case, tenant insurance can pay for your temporary accommodation for a certain amount. So, and then, well, the question would be how much is the tenant insurance, right? It depends on like how much you want to be insured for. But it's, well, if it's just a room rental, I think it starts from like maybe $15 a month to if you get a like bigger house and independent unit, it can be like $30. So if you have any questions, maybe you can arrive and then we can have a chat. Please let me know. Okay, I think we just finished the first part, and then we are going to the how to search, but then we are still we are already, well, in like half of the like time that is allotted. I'm going to go very fast. So how to search, so where to look. It's one of the frequent questions that I get. So, well, there is a list you can see. There's IO listing, there's Kijiji, and it classifies, and there's other things. But I can say that at the moment, I don't know what'll happen like maybe next year, but at this time, the most active rental listings website is Facebook Marketplace in St. John's. So if you have only some time, like a limited time, and then have to look around, then go to Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes if you are not here, you may need a VPN, but well, I can tell you this is the most where the most rental listings are coming. And St. John's is not a big city, and there is only limited number of like rental houses available. And because a lot of landlords wants to expose their rental as to most people, if it's their only one pick, I think they go to marketplace as well. So this is the most active one. And the other one would be QGG, and classifies it is not very, active. And so IO listing, I am going to go through it after this slides because it is collected by our office, internationalization office, and then yeah, so I'm going to go into it more after this slides. So there on the at the end of the list, and there is a word of mouth. Although it is at the end of the list, I would say maybe it is the best resources you can get, because a lot of good ones, the good locations near the campus, and then good rent and whatever I want to have live with other students, students. In this case, a lot of these rooms available don't even go to the Facebook Marketplace. Well, they just say, oh, like in our house, there is one room available. Do you know anyone who's looking for? And then that's how they just get the rooms this way. So the most like good ones, that's what I see. That's what I observe many times, and then they are just shared in the group of friends or in the group of communities. So even though you are not here, if you can get reach out to some communities of your own, maybe your countries, students, then please try to reach out to them and then see if there is any good opportunities there available. Okay. Okay, so I said I'll go to the IO website and IO listing. So when you go to Internationalization Office website, you can go to off-campus housing, and then under that there's housing office options, and then there's IO listing as well. So when you go to the IO listing, you can see the link to this IO listing. So this is updated periodically. Like nowadays, I update it like maybe 3 or 4 days. Sometimes I update it every month, every week, whatever, depending on how many rental units that come to me. And so when you open it, where I updated it since this status, but anyways, the gist is the same. So you see the green circle, that is the address, and now you can just click the address. You can see it in the Google map. There is a link. And the red circle means it's like facilities and amenities. So if the utilities are included, or if it is furnished, or the laundry access is available, and all the things are stated here. And purple that means the type of the rental units. So it has the one room available in some house, or if it is like one apartment, like one bedroom apartment available. So it's the rental type. And the yellow one, it is like one of the important things. It is the landlords that landlords are saying how they want to be communicated by the potential tenants. So if it says email, phone, text message, they are very open. You can reach out in any way. But if they say only email, then please respect that. Well, by not respecting that, you may lose the opportunity to rent this unit, because if you don't, if the landlord thinks that like, oh, this person is not respecting what I wish, then maybe we will have a problem later on. Then, well, that's not going to be good, right? And this monitor shows a Facebook Marketplace. And when you go to Facebook Marketplace and then choose property rentals, you can see this St. John's map, and then how many units are available for rental and stuff. So here I want to share this tip. When you see the left side, there is some recommended, and then like the filters site, right? So you want to sort the listings by the newest date listed, because the old ones, they may be just although it is rented already, they just don't take it down or whatever. So I would go to the newest ones if I can, and then see from the first. The fresh ads are always better, because nowadays, yes, St. John's rental market is hugely landlord's market. So I hear when landlords they put an ad on Facebook Marketplace, within a day they get hundreds of messages. So they don't really go to the last message. They only go to like the first few messages, and then try the first messages. And then if it doesn't work out, then they may go to the next cohort, right? So if you can, please find a fresh ads and then reply. So when you open this listing, the listings should include information here. So what types of rental unit it is, like it is a room in a like 3-bedroom apartments, kind of thing. And how much rent is, of course, and how much security deposit is. And that is important as well. And if utilities are included, or POU, that is what we did it in the budgeting. And if it is furnished, unfurnished as well. And the other one, it's important as well, when it is available, when is the move-in date. So when you're looking for a place, like a lot of students are looking for September 1st availability. But if it is like available from August 15th, so okay, they may hold it for you. But if they have someone who can move in right away on the August 15th, they may go with that person, because, well, at the end of the day, how I see it is the business. So, well, the landlord is not doing the charity work. They are doing the business. So it's a business transaction. Please remember that. And if it is available certain date, and they would go for the person who can move in the date that they want, or it is available. The lease length means if it is month-to-month agreement, or the fixed term lease. So, well, I can go on forever about this as well, but then because we don't have much time, I'll go to the next one right away. So the location is important, and then contact information for landlord is of course important for you to reach out to them. So please make sure that you have all this information when you see a listing. And if it is like too vague, or like not very specific, or not very clear, there are chances that they can be bogus like ads. So this is a very important information that you need to find when you are looking for any listings. So it is related to scam alerts, right? So if the listings seem to be a little too good to be true or whatever, then it may be scam or the fake ad. So this is a checklist to ensure there are no red flags when choosing a place to rent. So always start your review process by Googling the property's address. In this way, you can see the house, the facade of a house, right? The how it is look, if it is actually existing. So always start. Google Map is your best friend when you are looking for a place. And the best way though, like to avoid a scam is like meeting the landlord in person and verify the legitimacy of the rental unit. So I know a lot of students want to secure a place before coming here, but it is really like the best way to avoid any problem in the future. It is like meeting the landlord in person and then communicate and then see for yourself if it's going to work out. And the other one that you can try is contact the previous renters, previous tenants to verify information of the landlord or the house. And so this is the best way to ensure the listing is not fake, right? And always remember, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is, because it is business at the end of the day. So there are other things like, so well, when you are like signing a lease, I'm like, please make sure that everything is in order, and well, be careful not to give away any of your personal confidential information. And most of all, please don't send any money before you are 100% sure of the place or the landlord, because like all the scams happen to get your money or confidential personal information, right? So if you don't give out to like the landlord or potential scammer any of these things, then you are not going to be scammed, right? So be careful when you hand in your money or personal information. Okay, well, finally, we'll get to the final section of the session. So how to approach the ads. When you reply to the listings, always reply to the ad based on the info. So just like it shows that you respect the like listings and all the things that you read the information as well. But well, most of times, like 95%, they would ask, oh, please include your introduction and like what you are like, kind of thing. So, well, and one of the complaints that I get a lot from students is that they never get replies to the landlords when they send the messages. So in this case, I would suggest that you write something in advance to just use for your introduction to find like off-campus housing. So pre-written text can help. So if you just use this copy and paste and edit just a little bit to like tailor to the listings, and then maybe you don't have to waste so much time, and then that'll help you better. And once you send the replies, just wait for the reply from the landlord and don't pester, because it's not going to give you anything good. And in the end of the day, because again, this is well, this is not going to happen just because you pressure them. So again, I put it there again, like may not get a reply, then just move on. Like don't dwell on it. Just go to the another one. And if you just like talking to one landlord, that doesn't mean that you are going to get the place. So have your options open, and then try everything until you secure a place, the final place. And between this communication, in the middle of this, when you are into communicating with any landlords, and if there is any concerns, ask. Well, I know you can be a little afraid, oh, if I ask these questions, maybe it'll put off the person. But if it's going to put off them, then maybe like your problems are still going to be there, and then it's not going to be your place. However, that doesn't mean that you have to pester them or just like make constant demands. It is just like use your reasonable sense, okay? And then, well, we talked about this. Arrange a viewing and inspect the rental property in person. It is the best way to avoid scams. And then make sure that you are comfortable with the housing. I've talked to some students who have experience. They will vouch for you that well, please make sure that you inspect the rental property in person if you want to make sure that you are going to be comfortable in your next home. So I have prepared some examples that you can use to model to send the landlords when you are seeing anything that you are interested. So the first example is more about like when you are looking for a place with your partner. So, hi, my name is A. I'm very interested in your one-bedroom apartment for rent. It sounds like what I've been looking for. I'm a new graduate engineering student at MUN, who recently arrived in St. John's with my partner, and then we do not smoke or party. We do not have any pets. We are responsible tenants who always pay rent on time, and we will take care of your rental property like our own. So it's the gist of it. And then the good thing is, I think a lot of graduate or MUN students are favored by a lot of landlords in St. John's, which is good. And I hope you will live up to that reputation. And the example two is more about like if you are looking for someone who's renting out as a roommate. So but the gist is the same. Like you are very clean, and then you would like manage your place like your own. It's going to be tidy, and you're going to pay rent on time. They are the most important things that you need to emphasize. So if the viewing goes well, or maybe the conversation goes well, and then you want to sign the lease, or you want to pick this place, and then, okay, could you please put your mic on mute? So sign and retain a copy of your rental agreement. Put all agreement in writing. It is very important. Well, if everything is going well, and then if well, the landlord is ideal and you're an ideal person, and all the ideal situation happens, it doesn't really matter. But well, sometimes it is not a case. So to prove whatever you are claiming, the writing is the best method. So it can be just on my text message or in an email or whatever, but if it is in writing, it is a lot easier to prove if something occurs. And ensure to have the landlord's full contact information. Well, please make sure that you have their the name, the real name, and their email address, their phone number or address if possible. Because, well, if something happens, you need to know their contact information. And the next one will be, you may be expected to pay security deposit. We talked about this. So yeah, when you do that, please request a receipt. Sometimes our landlords will ask you to pay the security deposit first before you move in. If it is the purpose of like to hold the room, and then there is a long time before you move in, well, that happens because they want to have some guarantee as well as you want to make sure this is not any rental unit is not a scam. So I think from the landlord's like position sometimes, and then if it is reasonable, for them to demand something, and if it is you can understand, maybe well, it is okay. So there is no cut and dry answer in many cases, and just like use your context, use your discretion, and use your logic, and then well, hopefully it'll all work out. So everything has happened, and then when you move in, I emphasized this already, take as many as pictures of the rental unit as you can. It can prevent further disputes over what damage was done when you move out. And next and the last one is to get a tenant insurance. We talked about it, so I will go to our last slide. So the last slide is about the rental credentials that your potential landlord may ask before they decide to sign a rental agreement with you. So there are things like proof of income, references, credit score, criminal record check, and then tenant insurance. I know for a lot of new students, it is not available for you to present. So in this case, I think a lot of landlords understand your situation as well, but you need to do your best to like satisfy all these things in other ways if you can. And because it is, again, it is not one way, it is two ways. They want to make sure that you are going to be good tenants, while you want to make sure they are going to be good landlords for you. So, well, just use your, maybe you can talk them into it, or you can just say anything, like say some things that like write some things that you can prove that you are going to be good tenants in terms of you're going to pay the rent on time, or you're going to maintain the house like clean and tidy. So the best thing is well, use your discretion, and then well, you just have to use your context and use your like situation the best way that you can. And if you want any advice while you do that, please reach out to me and we can talk more about your specific case. So it concludes my presentation. Thank you so much. That was a lot of slides and a lot of information to stick with me. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can email us at arrivals@manda.ca. Me or Bahar or Devika will answer. Or if it is housing specific, you can always email me. You're always welcome at hjun@manda.ca. Well, thank you guys. I will stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Harry. I'm gonna stop the recording.